This team in the month of October showed us they wouldn't be one that goes down without a fight. It would be different under Dan Muse, and that breath of fresh air that he brought to the table would be for better, not worse. And it's happening right away. Kyle Dubas pushing all of the right buttons. After what was a rough-looking first year for Kyle Dubas in office, he is starting to pull the right strings. It seems like even the small trades are paying off. Igor Chinakhov has been a revelation for them. He has been a great pickup since joining the Penguins. He was somebody that had pedigree, couldn't figure it out. The Penguins pick him up, and now here he is as somebody that's become almost a key player when you see what he does. And they have a couple of other guys like that. They've had the youth movement. Ben Kindle has been the man leading that. At just 18 years old, their top pick from this past draft. He has 14 goals, 27 points in 54 games. Chinakhov, by the way, 19 games with the Penguins. He has 9 goals and 4 assists. And he's only 24. And Dan Muse has been able to keep this going because he has been able to not have everything so front-loaded. It's not all about just the top six, the first couple of lines. They have had good play all the way through their lineup. They've had good goaltending efforts. Sheloff, Skinner, they get rid of Tristan Jarry. They parlay that into another deal. That looks like a genius trade, and Jarry has not had good returns for the people or the team in Edmonton. So things are going well for the Penguins besides them losing their best player and their captain for 2 decades, the multi-time Stanley Cup champion and gold medalist Sidney Crosby, who has 59 points in 56 games, still keeping that point-per-game streak going. He has 27 goals and 32 helpers. He has still been that key in the ignition. He gets injured in the Olympic Games. We're thinking, okay, if this is really bad, the Penguins are in trouble. This could end their season. What looks like it has a lot of promise. Lo and behold, he's out at least 4 weeks. He's going to miss most of the remainder of the season, regular season. So the next question becomes, can they stay afloat? Can they play without him? Can they hold off everybody else when it comes to the playoff race? A team that I think Vegas projected at 76 points. I think their over-under was something like 76.5 points. They have 25 games to go, and they have 72 points. Second in the Metro. 3 points ahead of the Capitals, who are the top team from the outside looking in, but still ahead of teams like the Islanders and Bruins. The Penguins are in the playoffs, and they're not doing this via fluky ways. It's not as if they are really not that good of a hockey team and they're just getting by. They have a top 3 goal differential in the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay has plus 60. That's absurd. Carolina plus 35. They're the 2 best teams. They both have 80 points. They both lead their respective divisions, the Atlantic and the Metro. But the Penguins at plus 26, they have played a better team defense under Dan Muse. Again, the goaltending has not seen a drop-off. I think there were some Tristan Jarry fans that may have thought we would see that drop-off. That has not happened. And they have also shown in the past, I think this is most important, Sidney Crosby missing something like 17 of their last 26 games, including the one the other night that they won, 4-1 over the Devils. Shelov's had 28 saves. Evgeny Malkin, who is prone to step up when Sidney Crosby is out, had 2 helpers. There's just so many different guys that they have that have found ways to step up all season. And we know historically Evgeny Malkin does this a ton when Sidney Crosby is absent. And Gino has turned maybe not the clock all the way back. We're not talking Gino from 10 or 15 or almost 20 years ago. But we're getting good hockey out of Evgeny Malkin. He's a plus 14 player. He has 46 points, 33 of those being assists. So he only has 13 goals. But Gino has been great for them in the 42 games he's played this year because even he has missed some time, and he needed that rest during the Olympic break at 39 years old. I believe in a guy like that. I know he's old. He's on the doorstep of 40. I know they still don't have a young roster. They have some younger guys, but you think of players like Erik Karlsson, who's having his best season as a Penguin. He's 35. Brian Rust, still somebody that's going to be a 20-goal scorer, maybe even 25 or 30 by the time we're done. He has 19 and through 50 games. Anthony Mantha has had a great season, 20 goals already, 43 points. All of those guys are on the plus side of 30, but they are finding help all around the ice. From the new youthful players that they have, guys that are under the age of 25 or 26, some of them still teenagers like Ben Kindle. I went over his numbers a few minutes ago. They have just gotten play across the board that has made them a complete team. They've still been led by Sidney Crosby. He's still their best player. He always will be their best player, I assume, until he's done, whenever that may be. But the depth is there that they have not had in recent years. And the way they are playing under Dan Muse, who is somehow 4th in the odds for the Jack Adams Award for Coach of the Year. Bednar, Cooper, somebody else ahead of him. I think Dan Muse should be somebody getting way more consideration. He's plus 1,000 to win that award, but he's been phenomenal in his first season. He gets an A+ from me. That's how good he's been in his first season as Penguins coach. I never expected this to happen. And speaking back to the point about Evgeny Malkin stepping up, there is proof in the pudding that the Penguins step up as a team when they lose Sidney Crosby. Joel, are you aware what their record is without Sid all time?
How many total games is it?
I mean, it's well over 200. It's probably around it's a little bit over 200, I'll tell you that. It's like in the 2 teens.
I'm going to say, I don't know, like 60 and 140. It's got to be a losing record, I would think.
You're going to be stunned. 122, 65, and 28.
Wow.
With Sidney Crosby out of the lineup in his career. And yes, this is somebody who I think is one of the 3 best hockey players to ever live. That's how good Sidney Crosby is. But the Penguins are able to rally around each other, step up, and play better without Sid in the lineup. Don't get me wrong. I always want him in there. But they are able to keep this thing going. That's why I think, and I said this the other night, I think Sidney Crosby, or I think the Penguins can keep this going without Sid. He believes in them. Of course he does. What else is he going to say? I think they're still going to make the playoffs. They're going to get him back for the last 8 or 9 games, you would hope. If it is true, if the injury report on him is true, they did keep that caveat of at least 4 weeks, so he could miss more time. But I would anticipate he comes back and they don't have a whole lot of wiggle room when it comes to them in the final wild card spot and that last team looking in. So they're probably going to need him. But if they can hold on here for the next 15 or so games, I think they're going to get in. And we're going to return to playoff hockey in Pittsburgh for the first time in a few years. And it's a surprise season to see them do it. And I hope by then, and I can't step up on the pedestal too much here because I'm about to bring up the attendance figures for the season and how the Penguins are 31st out of 32 teams. And, what are the factors going in? Is it that people don't believe in this team? I haven't gone to a game all season. In the last few Penguins games I've attended, I've either paid nothing or very little for the ticket to get in. So I'm not going to be one that brings into question like, hey, why aren't you going to games? Because I think it's still as simple as how the economics of hockey, going to a game for a family of four, is not cheap. Even for a couple, it's not cheap. A little bit over $100 for a pair, well over $200 for four, maybe even to $300 for four. That's just the tickets. Then you drive down, you have parking, you have the concessions, you have beer prices. There is a lot that goes into it. I still think it's that simple. And they aren't the team that is just red hot, one of the best in hockey like they were through that sellout streak, because that's one of the main rebuttals of, well, people went 20 years ago, people went 15 years ago, what's stopping them now? Things are more expensive now. Living is more expensive now. Things aren't as friendly to us, and maybe there is a little bit of the lack of cultivation in young fans. I don't know. I still think it's pretty simple. I just think it's a lot to ask, monetarily for people to go to a lot of hockey games. I think it gets down to just to that. But this is a team with playoff aspirations, and I think they can get there. I really think they can get there. I have completely flipped to the other end. A team I thought would be so bad would have a chance that the little Powerball would show up with the Penguins being one of the teams getting a top pick in the draft. Now I think they can make the playoffs.